Devacharya, Astuttara Saraswati. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shama Radha Kund Giri Gaura Jai. Gaura Premanande Gandhara Chima Bhagavata. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. The verse?
9:8:22.
9:8:26. 22. Did we say Om Namo Bhagavate? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 8, the sons of Sagara meet Lord Kapildev. Read today, Chapter 22. Please repeat after me. Ye, Deha, Bhaja, Tri, Guna, Pradana, Ye Deha Bhaja Sri Guna Pradana,
Ye Deha Bhaja Sri Guna Pradana.
Ye Deha Bhaja Sri Guna Pradana,
Ye Deha Bhaja Sri Guna Pradana.
Guna Vipashyanti Uta Va Tamash Cha Guna Vipashyanti Uta Va Tamascha.
Guna Vipashyanti Utava Tamascha.
Guna Vipashyanti Uta Va Tamascha.
Guna Vipashyanti Utava Tamascha.
Ya
Mayaya Mohita
Tetasas
Svam
Yanmaya Mohita Tetasas
Yamaya Mohita Tetasastvam.
Yanmaya Mohita Tetasas
Yamaya Mohita Tetasastvam.
Vidu Samstam Na Vayi Prakasha Vidu Swasamstam Na Vayi Prakasha
Vidu Swasamstam Vayi Prakasha.
Vidu Swasamstam Na Vayi Prakasha
Vidu Swasamstam Vayi Prakasha.
Ye Deha bhagyas triguna pradana gunan vipashyanti utavatamascha yanmayaya mohita te tasastam vidusva samstam nabhahi prakasha Yedeha bhajas triguna pradana
Gunan vipashyan yutavatamascha Yanmayaya mohita cetasastvam Vidusva samstam nabhahi prakasha
One more. Everybody understands English? Yeah.
Je vais faire une
Tout le
traduction en
monde
français.
comprend anglais? Non?
Je vais faire une traduction en français.
Ah.
S'il y en a qui ne parlent pas anglais, vous pouvez venir ici.
Traduction au fond,
Là-bas.
si vous avez besoin. Okay. Those persons who have accepted the material body, Triguna Pradana, influenced by the three modes of material nature. Gunan, the manifestation of the three modes of material nature. Vipashyanti, can see only. Uta, it is so said. Va, either. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Cha, and Yat Mayaya, by the illusory energy of whom Mohita has been bewildered. Chetasaha, the core of whose heart, Tam, your lordship, Viduhu, no, Sasamstam, situated in one's own body. Na, not. Mohihi Prakasha. Those who can see only the products of external energy. Translation, my Lord, this is speaking here. It's Amshuman, who is the grandson of Maharaj Sagar, who is, anyway, it's a long story. So, anyway, Amshuman, he's addressing Lord Kapila. He says, my Lord, you are fully situated in everyone's heart, but the living entities covered by the material body cannot see you, for they are influenced by the external energy conducted by the three modes of material nature. Their intelligence being covered by sattva guna, raja guna, and tamo guna, they can see only the actions and reactions of these three modes of material nature. Because of the actions and reactions of the mode of ignorance, whether the living entities are awake or sleeping, they can see only the workings of material nature. They cannot see your Lordship. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Unless one is situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, one is unable to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart. However, because the conditioned souls are influenced by material nature, they can see only the actions and reactions of material nature, but not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One therefore must purify himself internally and externally. Apavitra pavitro va sarva vashtam akato piva yasmare pundarikaksham sabhaya bhyantara suchihi. To keep ourselves externally clean, we should bathe 3 times daily. And for internal cleanliness, we must cleanse the heart by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement, the members of, now the amplification started. We are halfway, or we're almost at the end of the important part. Maybe I should read the whole purport and verse and purport again with amplification. Anyway, we'll finish it first. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement must always follow this principle. Bhaya abhyantaraha shuchi. Then it will one day be possible to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Ideha bhajas triguna pradana gunan vipashyanti utavatamascha yan mayaya mohita cheta sastram viduhu samstam na bohihi prakashaha. My Lord, you are fully situated in everyone's heart, but the living entities covered by the material body cannot see you, for they are influenced by the external energy conducted by the 3 modes of material nature. Their intelligence being covered by sattva guna, raja guna, and tamo guna, they can see only the actions and reactions of these 3 modes of material nature. Because of the actions and reactions of the mode of ignorance, whether the living entities are awake or sleeping, they can see only the workings of material nature. They cannot see your Lordship. So, Amshuman is explaining the reason why his who was it? Someone in his family, the sons of Sagara Maharaj, who were his grandfathers, they committed this terrible offense towards Lord Kapila Dev, which we heard about in the previous verses. It's a long story, but it's in a way classical, because this is what happens, that as he explains here, Amshuman, that Krishna is everywhere. He's in everyone's heart, and he's also outside. He's present as in the form of the universe. The universe is understood to be the body of the Lord. So we are walking on Krishna. Even the earth that we are walking on is also a manifestation of Krishna. So, and he's within our heart. He's everywhere. How is it that we cannot see him? Yeah, it's a mystery actually, but it's explained here. What is the cause of this illusion? It's actually, if you think about it, it's quite amazing how Krishna creates this illusion that we cannot see him. Something is right in front of you, and it's, to create such an illusion that you won't see it. It's quite a feat, actually. But Krishna, he accomplishes that. Why? Because we don't want to see him. We came to this material world because we didn't want to serve Krishna. We wanted to live in a world where there is no Krishna, where we can be little Krishnas. In other words, we can have the impression that I am the center. Everything is meant for my enjoyment. We saw Krishna in that. Krishna has, that is Krishna's position. And in the spiritual world, that is so obvious. And everybody is happy with that. But a few foolish living entities, they got the idea, no, why Krishna? I want to be in that position. He's enjoying so much, I want to enjoy like that. But that idea cannot, that is not acceptable in Krishna's abode. If that is what we want, then we'll have to leave. But Krishna is so kind that he creates a world for us. And that's where we are now. It's embarrassing, but there's no denying it, because otherwise, what are we doing here? If we were so Krishna conscious, so sincere and so on, then how did we end up in this material world? It's a little hard to explain. the reality is quite quite difficult to get around, and everybody else knows it. Certainly Krishna knows it. We've turned away from him, and still we need to confess. Just like in the Catholic Church, not so much in the Reformed traditions of Northern Europe, where I'm from, but here, you see in the church, all the churches, you see this little booths where you're supposed to go in and confess your sins, and the priest is actually, it's a little strange when I think about it. Why is it that you can't see the priest, but the one who's confessing is visible? Maybe it should be the other way around. Anyway, that's the system. And this used to be the system that you would come, I guess, once a week or something like that, and confess your sins. And that's actually a good practice, because even though it is known to everyone, actually, we'll be surprised to find out that people know us sometimes better than we do. I remember before I joined, sometimes every now and then, people they would relate their impression of me, how they see me, and I was always surprised. Wow, they are so observant. I knew this, but I didn't know that they know who I am. So it becomes a little embarrassing sometimes, but we should know that, as it is said here, Krishna is within our hearts. He knows everything about us. All those little secrets that we are keeping, that we sometimes try to keep from ourselves because it's embarrassing, but it's actually a great relief when we take the courage, and it requires courage actually, to be honest and to be frank and to admit that there are some things, they are deep in my heart, which I'm not very proud of. There's something which I know I should change it, but I'm not doing it, and please help me. Actually, that is what we need to ask Krishna for help. Actually, that is Krishna has a specific form, which is he takes a specific form which is specially meant for that, to help us work on these unwanted things in our heart, which actually keeps us from experiencing our loving relationship with Krishna, our happy natural life. And that is the form of Nrsingadev. Nrsingadev, he has not only come to kill Hiranyakashipu and all the other external demons, but he has also come to kill the demon within. He is very well equipped for that task. And actually we are praying to him every day. Ahir Nrsinga, Hridaye Nrsinga. He is without, but he is also within our hearts. And he's ready. If we cooperate with him, then he will actually take away those things that, as described here by Amshuman, actually it is the influence of the modes of material nature, specifically as he points out here, the mode of ignorance, that makes us unable to see Krishna. He can take it away, but we have to ask for help. In other words, we have to actually want that. And we have to ask Krishna with his powerful nails to dig into our hearts and rip out those dirty things. It's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. But it's not necessarily bad. Sometimes there is some pain involved if we actually want to move forward. And that is the proof of sincerity, that we are actually willing to undergo that pain. Like Prabhupada says somewhere, something to the effect that an easy-going life, I think it's in the, yes, we just, because in our place over there, we are reading from the first canto, Prayers of Queen Kunchi. And there's a famous verse where Queen Kunchi is asking Krishna to, she's giving a whole list of all the troubles that her and her sons, they had to go through because there was a palace intrigue. They were actually the rightful rulers of the world, but that was not to the liking of actually their uncle and his sons. So they made so much trouble for them. They had to undergo incredible tribulations. And she's relating all that. She's giving a whole list of all the things that they had to go through. They were Dhritarashtra and his sons, his 100 sons headed by Duryodhana. They tried to kill them in so many ways, by putting them into a house that was simply built to burn and to kill them in the fire. They were being fed, especially Bhima, he was being fed poisonous cake, and finally they were lured into, especially Yudhishthira Maharaj, into taking part in a dice game where they lost everything. They finally were banished to the forest. I just read about the Great Depression of the 20s, which started in 29 in USA, and how so many people, they lost everything. They were rich people, but from one day to the other, they were out on the street with nothing to their name. And many committed suicide like that. So it was a similar situation for the Pandavas. They were the emperors of the world, but everything was taken away from them. And they were banished to not the street, but the forest for 12 years. And such a... most people, they would not survive. So anyway, after giving a whole list, Kunchi Devi shockingly asked Krishna, Vipada, how was it? I forgot the verse. Please let these calamities come again and again. Because as long as we were in trouble like that, while we were undergoing all those difficulties, we would see you again and again. Krishna would come always when the need was greatest. Krishna, all of a sudden, he would come and he would save the situation again and again. So it's a very, I don't have the first canto here, but it's a very wonderful verse and purport. She's saying, there's a play on the word darshan. Darshan means to have vision of something or somebody. And she's saying that during this time we would have your darshan repeatedly, so many times. When you have darshan of Krishna, that means you will no longer, she uses the same word, you will no longer have darshan of repeated birth and death. So therefore, she was praying to the Lord, let these calamities happen again and again, because they are not real calamity. The real calamity is to not be able to see Krishna. Here we have given the clue how we can, as Prabhupada says in the final sentence of this purport, he says that one day it will be possible to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. That is our goal, actually. And we should not give up before that, before we are there. We should not settle for something less. We shouldn't. I appreciated very much Sutapa. I was only here for one of his classes. He spoke about in that class how we should never allow our devotional practices to become mechanical. It should never become a routine, something that we do without thinking about it, without spiritual aspiration. This is really such an important point. Danudas Swami in his study guide, I would call it, to the Nectar of Devotion, very nice book called Waves of Devotion. He expresses it in this way. He says, we should never allow our daily devotional practice to be devoid of spiritual aspiration. We should not allow this to happen. It's just something we do because that's our duty, that's our routine, that's what we are told to do, and we have to do it, otherwise we cannot. They will kick us out of the temple, something like that. No, we should We are here to make spiritual advancement. We are here to qualify us to one day see Krishna face to face. And that day will come if we actually follow the process. And following the process is not just going through the movements, coming for Mangalarti, chanting 16 rounds, following 4 regulatory principles. Yes, this we have to do, but it's not enough just to do it in a mechanical way. We have to do it with a desire to reawaken our love for Krishna. If that is not there, then the effect will be very slow, and our progress will be very slow. Still some effect will be there, but our spiritual life really takes off when we actually develop a desire to become happy. When we realize that this is what it takes actually, if we want to solve our problems, if we want to get out of this miserable material existence which we are caught up in. Then if that is the little secret, which is very simple, but like Prabhupada, he told one devotee, Tribhuvana, the famous Tribhuvana from UK, he told him, Krishna consciousness is so simple that you will miss it. And he did like this. It's there, but you miss it. It's right in front. Because, one problem is it's so simple that we tend to overlook. Just like Krishna is, like I just described here, and like I started by saying that Krishna is everywhere. And how is it we cannot see him? That's it's a mystery, but it's another side of Krishna's glory, and it's the key to the answer is, of course, that we don't want to. So, do we want to be Krishna conscious? That is the question we should ask ourselves. And if the answer is no, then don't be afraid to admit it. Yes, I actually don't want to be Krishna conscious. But that doesn't mean, okay, then get out of here. Well, how you feel about, it's not the end of everything, even if we have to admit that our desire is not so strong, but how do we feel about that? Is it right? Are we comfortable with that, or do we realize that this is wrong? I should become more serious. If we feel bad about our own lack of enthusiasm, that's good. Then we can make the decision, okay, let me become more enthusiastic. I'm gonna get myself together and actually remember the facts of life. The facts of life are very plain. There is no happiness here in this material world. And any attempt to find an eternal life of bliss and knowledge here in this world, which is certified by the Lord to be temporary and full of suffering. It is just stupid. It's so obvious it won't work. It's not difficult to see. Nobody is happy here. There's only the illusion of, or the make-believe of happiness. And that becomes the substitute for happiness, for the conditioned soul. He's suffering, but he thinks, okay, there's nothing I can, but at least let me pretend that I'm happy. If I can make others believe that I'm happy, then that is the best thing I can achieve. But that's not happiness. We should go for real happiness. It is there. It is available. Just not here in this world. Hare Krishna. I've talked enough, I think. Any questions or comments? Okay, then we end here. Oh, there's a question. Too quick.
He has a question.
Yes.
He has a question, and there's somebody there who has a question also. I saw you first,
Yes,
so
please.
let them.
Milena is saying that yes, we have to desire to get out of this illusion, but it's can be scary to let go everything.
Careless. It can be careless.
It can be scary.
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 You can have
Scary.
fear to let go everything. And
Yeah, it's scary.
we,
But we don't have to let go of everything all at once.
on a besoin de tout lâcher.
At least some recognition to start with, that there are some things we should let go of. And even if you don't let go immediately, but you start thinking about it. You start, yes, mentally preparing, okay, this is something I have to work on. And I guess the most important, like I said, is to realize that this is actually I'm so attached to living the way I live, to seeing myself the way I see myself, but this is actually what keeps me from actually living my life, being happy, experiencing the happiness that is actually due to me. We are, as spirit souls, we are eternal. We are full of knowledge. We are full of happiness. It's not something that we have to attain. Actually, we simply have to discover. But there's something keeping us from that. And these are the things that we are so afraid to give up. If we at least recognize that if we can understand this with good intelligence, then we can start working on it and asking for help. that's the main thing, I guess. It seems like a impossible task, but there's help to be had. Krishna has made so many arrangements to help us to solve this problem. And if we are, this takes a little humility. I need help. I'm actually not in good shape, and I don't know what to do, how to move forward, how to get out of this horrible situation which we are all caught in, and we have to ask for help. When I was, it's many years ago now, but I for some time, it's like 20 years ago, I made the decision, let me go on Padayatra in India. And that is it's a preaching program that has been going on for many years now, and it's so simple. It's probably the most simple and austere program we have in it. They simply walk from village to village in India with a bullock cart, actually 2 bullock carts, and they preach, they distribute books, they make programs, they chant Hare Krishna, and wherever they are, can, sleep, whatever they can eat, they will accept. Sleeping sometimes, just in a shed somewhere, even on a construction site, or whatever. And there's normally no bathrooms, no toilets. This is, the toilet is the field, the bathroom is a well or a hand pump, where you get your bucket of water and do your thing, while the whole village is standing around you and looking. It was anyway, and for me there was such a change from my normal comfortable life in the Hare Krishna temple in the West. And I was embarrassed to realize I don't even know how to wash my clothes without a washing machine. These simple things, and I had to ask somebody. It was so embarrassing. How should I actually do? And I had to ask for help, even to just take care of my bodily demands. And but when I asked for help, I found out they were happy to help me. It was not, come on. How old are you? Are you a baby? I have to tell you this. It wasn't like that. Yeah, you feel like this, actually they appreciated it. They were happy to help. So we'll find that. My point is, if we realize we need help and we ask for help, we will find that help is there. We just have to ask for it. The right persons, of course, we have to find out where help is available. And but then things can move, little by little. It's scary, but in good company, it's not so bad.
So I feel no real desire to please Krishna, and also I feel mostly a lot of envy in my heart. So how to? I feel mostly a lot of envy in my heart. So how to not get depressed? I feel it's easy for me just to become depressed. That it seems impossible. But
Yeah,
also,
that is another trick of Maya to make us depressed and make us, give us the feeling it is not possible.
yes.
But that's, you can say it's simply not allowed.
Huh?
It's not allowed. We shouldn't allow ourselves. There's really no basis for this because Krishna is very encouraging in Bhagavad Gita. He says that, how is it? Third chapter. Many persons in the past, they have gone this, they have attained this goal. They have actually developed a love for me. So there's, so many good examples we can follow. It is possible to, not all at once. Again, the same point. It's a long journey from where we are to join Krishna's Rasa Leela. But we have enough time. We can take it, gradually, step by step. And there's a Chinese saying, even the longest journey starts with the first step. So, one thing that also, a point I made here sometime is, whenever we succumb to that feeling of, just, oh, it's too difficult, I cannot make it, then we should just look at our life and see actually how we have already made a lot of progress. Even though a beginner in Krishna consciousness, if he actually observes his own, he must recognize that he has already attained so many good things. Just by taking up Krishna consciousness, immediately we can do things that for normal people is impossible. How to give up smoking, how to give up, chasing the opposite sex, how to, just live a pure life, following these four principles. And even though maybe we are struggling, maybe sometimes we have fall downs, but still it's a lot better than what we have to remember where we came from and how we have already gone. We have already moved forward. We have already, we should celebrate our little victories in spiritual life. Be happy that, even though it may seem insignificant what we have achieved, but it's something. And we should be happy about it, and we should take courage. It's important to, we shouldn't be complacent, but we should see that we have achieved something already. Something which is very, very nice. And this should give us faith that if I continue, then things will continue improving. Remember that. Don't allow your mind to cheat like that. See that it's going good, And just keep on going and things will continue to improve. Trust me. I've been around for some years and it keeps getting better. Like Ringo Starr was singing. It's getting better all the time. Remember this? From Sgt. Pepper's. With a little help of my friends. So Hare Krishna. We end here.